Hi YouTube, Yellow Green 1990 here to read and have my review of chapter 77 of Record of Ragnarok, Hero of the Abyss. This is my unspoiled, been a while, unspoiled review and reaction. Couldn't reach, even Nikola Tesla's final suicidal attack couldn't reach Beelzebub. The eighth round is a total victory for the gods. However, that human was also an incredibly amazing guy. He was even known as the only sorcerer in human history, and we definitely lived up to the title. To defeat him so completely, that guy is truly amazing. Well done, Beelzebub. I reevaluated you, you gloomy bastard. I always knew you could pull through when you had to. We believe in you. Oh, how the tables have turned. There's not much difference between gods and humans. Hey, what do you think, Hades? Phew, in the end, Beelzebub managed to win somehow. It's a close call. Indeed, that PPX technique was a fierce one. Yes, that technique the human used at the end. What on earth was that? As a god of war, I have no idea what happened. I'm completely useless. Yes, you are, Ares. Indeed. Well, even I didn't expect that. To think he could teleport only his arm. Teleport only his arm? Tesla fired the PP with his right fist just before he hit Beelzebub's shield. Teleport only his right fist behind Beelzebub and simultaneously fired the PP with his left. In other words, the PP exploded simultaneously from the front and the back, an unavoidable pincer attack. So, front and back. This was supposed to be a technique to result in that even the wild fury that looked like brute force could have been a distraction to buy time. What a surprise. That was exactly a blow that exceeded even the imagination of a god. Even I was completely taken aback, says Zeus. Even my old man was surprised. If it weren't for Beelzebub, it would have been all over. Truly a terrified person, no matter how we look. And I like they're saying this essentially as he's holding onto the cane and bleeding and essentially walking down the halls. PPX, that was truly an amazing technique. Lula's in all the functions equipped in the suit. Brilliant. And not only that, the warped right arm had precisely aimed the target. What kind of application was that? Probably the Tesla particles brought the left and right fist together. I like that we essentially have the scientists analyzing everything of the attack. But for him to have kept such a technique hidden from us, no. That was likely a technique Tesla came up with in the spot and executed through instinctive thinking. Perhaps, witnessing Beelzebub fighting, sacrificing his own body, he learned to use his abilities to the fullest and develop new skills. He continued to move forward to the very last moment. Nikola Tesla, the greatest scientist of all time. Dang, that research otaku. Such a positive fool. Even after he died, he lit a flame in us. What a meddlesome person. Let's hurry back to our research. We don't have time to stop. We must continue to advance science. That's the will of the greatest human scientists. Greatest scientist in human history. Nikola Tesla. Let's move forward towards the future. Advance. Bixes Gondel. The end, Sister Gondel was smiling happily. He was satisfied and she was with Tesla smiling. Is that right, Sister Held? Sister, the victory, the gods have four winds and humanity has four winds. It's even once again. What kind of fierce battle awaits in the ninth round? Gods and humans both tremble in anticipation. Joy, love, pride, justice, passion, innocence, dignity, and advance. They were true wonderful fighters. You know, cheers. Every time I come to see you, Buchan, you're always crying. I must admit it's surprising to think Buchan would indulge in such sentimental feelings. First you disappear from your hospital room, and now you're taking naps in else's room without permission, Buddha. There's something I really want to ask you, Buchan. So I came here. What is it? Your ex-boyfriend, Siegfried. Apparently he's been in prison in Tartarus for quite some time now, hasn't he? Ah, Siegfried. Is there any connection between Ragnarok and your ex, Siegchan? No, there isn't. Oh, come on. No use in playing with me. Sieg is not my ex-boyfriend. He's her current boyfriend! Of course! I have no idea. I just thought it was interesting. I love her look, though. Sieg is not my ex-boyfriend. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have another round prepared for you. No way, no way. Yeah, seriously, Buchan, you're taking your period issues too far, aren't you? The Underworld. Tartarus. Seems that Beelzebub won the 8th round. That's to be expected. 63rd Demon of the 72 Demons of Solomon Andros. 64th Demon of the 72 Demons, Solomon Florus. But I heard that even Hades summoned loss. It seemed the strength of humanity has reached an unmanageable level. Indeed, to have a tie of 4 wins and 4 losses unexpected. 4 wins and 4 losses, huh? Well, that's a shocking development. Amazing. I don't think anyone was expecting this. So which side of Ragnarok are you rooting for as a half human, half god? That's the difficult question. I'm assuming this might be Siegfried. We don't know. It's hard to answer that kind of question based on my position. Just give us a quick answer. Oh, going back, sorry. I was going back. Essentially, we have an eagle. Andros essentially is almost like, sorry, more like a crow, almost tengu. And then essentially we have Floros is almost like a leopard based on what I see. Hey, wait a minute. Forbidden talked back to him. Oh no, that was close. Meow. Come on, let's talk a little more. You're so noisy. Don't come back talk to me so easily again. Meow. Aw, this is boring. Oh, but she's trying her best. I wonder if she's okay. Yeah. She seems so determined. She tries way too hard sometimes. Don't push yourself too hard, Hilde. Siegfried Norse god. This has intrigued me that there is another reason for Renildo. One reason I could think essentially she pushing this hard is because she wants to get it to the point where the gods are forced to essentially rely on Siegfried. I might be wrong, but to me that's an interesting proposal. So, what do you think? Now, with that, looking at pacing, character, story development. So, pacing. We have the conclusion of the fight with Beelzebub. Looking at Beelzebub, we jump to essentially Ares and Hermes, I think it is, sorry, talking about the fight. You could argue the same thing, but to me it's different because we jump from their perspective then to the audience, essentially talking about the battle. There's a brief one where we see essentially Beelzebub in the hall, so I would say that's 3. Short, but still 3. Then the audience, 4. Brunhilde is essentially Chambers. And then the underworld, so 6. I think while the shorter one with Beelzebub as context, I do think you don't need that because it adds another structure. Without that, you'd have 5, which to me is not bad. I thought pacing, honestly, even with the other one 6, is not terrible. So, I'm very typically picky with these. 6. Pacing with kind of talking about back and forth, leading into Ares, Hermes, and Zeus Little, audience, Beelzebub, Brunhilde's Chambers, Underworld. I give it a 4. Said I still think because it's not like less than 3, I don't want to give it a 2 or a 1 or a 3. Sorry, I don't want to give it like a 5 or a 4.5. So to me, this is 4. So pacing 4. Character. Beelzebub. Nikola Tesla. So Beelzebub, the fact that he wins, you could argue, and the fact that essentially he's comparing the difference between gods and humans, and he's very silent, not worrying about what the other's saying, still kind of going for it. I like that. Beelzebub, the fact that you have people still talking about his technique, and the fact they're intrigued by that. And so like, well, why do you do this? Why do you do this? And so the scientists aren't analyzing it. And then even Hermes and Ares and even Zeus. And so, yes, you could argue the fact that, so Hermes to me, I would give him because he's able to analyze and see it all. Ares didn't expect a whole lot, just saying. And the scientists, you could argue, but to me, I still think that adds more to Tesla's character because they're talking about it and how his final moments. Brunhilde, the fact that she has this, she's got the chamber with the joy, justice, pride, love. She's got the humans essentially and the gods kind of all set up the ones that all fought. Well, died, sorry. Because we haven't seen Buddha. Joy, justice, pride, love, dignity, innocence, passion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Advance. They were truly wonderful. So the fact that she's crying, but also the fact that she has an ulterior motive to essentially, which is Siegfried, her boyfriend. She's like, he's not my ex, she's my current. And then a little for Buddha, the fact that he's seeing through Brunhilde. He sees there's a plan there. He's like, you're not quite done. Her expression to me is perfect. It's just like, oof, sends chills down my, like, he's not my ex-boyfriend. There is no common plan. Sieg, she can express your ex, you know, Sieg is not my ex-boyfriend. So there is a connection. To me, I feel that, especially with her expression. And so she goes, Sieg is not my ex-boyfriend. It's like, oh, so Buddha's like, hey! So character for Brunhilde and for Buddha. I've been enjoying Buddha's character, not gonna lie. So I like the fact that we switched to the underworld and we see the different guards. Not gonna give them character. Story, they'll get some character for me. It still adds to Siegfried the fact that he's a half human, half god. We know he's Norse. He's trapped essentially. I mean, he's got like, it looks like literally his body parts, because essentially he's got like, he's hanging almost like the front and then like a cross kind of thing, except it's here, and then you've got like different chains all over. So there's something to do with his abilities. And so the fact that he acknowledges Brunhilde's okay, she's trying the best, and the fact that he asked if she's okay. The fact that to me it seems he either has still feelings for her or he still has hope for her plan. So Siegfried right there, the fact that he's chained up, he's a threat, and the fact that he's chained up, he's a threat, and the fact that he's caring about her. Now that could all be a ploy, but based on what we're seeing here. So character, not bad. There's a few minor thrown in. The audience, so, but to me, I thought obviously for what it was, not bad. I want to give it like a 4, but I don't, so a 3.5. I don't know. I feel like I get a lot of 3.5s, so a lot of halves. But for me to give a high rating, I went quick, short, and then a lot, like 1 or 2 main, and then just like dump. When you have Beelzebub and essentially things like Tesla, just mainly those two, that to me was a lot of good character. So 3.5. So we're at 7.5. Story wise, I would give this a 4 based on a little bit the fact that we have the conclusion of the victory of the battle. Humanity and the gods are now tied. There's Hermes is able to analyze essentially the attack. So we haven't particularly seen him fight or even understand, but to me, he's got more to add to the story because he's essentially almost the narrator. So explain kind of everything that's going on. So humanity is not quite done yet with that. We see that Beelzebub is struggling away, kind of limping. The audience is talking about all that Nikola Tesla did. So I think this is going to light a fire under them. They're dead, but they're not done. Or you could say they're still alive. No, they're all essentially dead. They're there, but even the alive ones, to me, so it's those who are still left are going to come up with something I think even more that will help humanity. So that to me, I think will push the story. Nikola Tesla's fight. And the fact that Brunhilde has two sides where she's kind of crying, they're determined, but then she also has a secret plan to help her boyfriend. And the fact that Buddha is kind of aware of part of what she's going on, not everything. And then for me, the fact that Siegfried is looming in the back. Based on what I'm seeing and hearing with his comments, I don't want to say he's a villain, but he feels more neutral to me. So I honestly, I said 4, 11.5. I know I've given those ratings before, but to me, not a bad chapter. Would have had liked to have a little more, so a little less for pacing, and a little more focus just strictly on Brunhilde, Siegfried, and Buddha. To me, really would have bumped that. story-wise, I felt there was a lot with the Brunhilde and the Siegfried. So that's why, to me, the rating was jumped up a little. So this has been Jolly Green 1990s review of Ragnarok, Record of Ragnarok, chapter 77, Hero of the Abyss, which we now know Siegfried by YouTube, I'm assuming.